Welcome to Freeze Your Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freeze Your Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's a day of love.
Yeah,
or loving yourself.
Yeah, whatever. Well, you know, that was one thing that we were talking about earlier. We were like, we treat this holiday as we don't see this as necessarily specifically a romantic holiday. Well, let me stop right there. Let me reframe that. You didn't see this as a romantic holiday, and I questioned that. I was like, because I'm used to thinking of it like this is for couples, right?
I know you're like
for couples.
This past week, 7 days, you've been like, do you want to do something? Are you expecting a gift? Are you expecting flowers? And I was like, no.
You're like, no, actually, I just want to go get the stuff for, get some stuff for the boys. And I'm like,
you're like, what?
I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean you want to get something for the boys? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm thinking like, a box of fucking the heart message candies or whatever. And, and you come home and last night you set all this stuff up and it's like this whole thing and like theme and like, I don't know. It was just really, really cool to see. I was like, man, I was not expecting this because, I look at the holiday as like it's for lovers. It's, it's for people who are romantically involved. Like it's about dinner dating and
roses
have roses and candies and, trying to woo the other person. And you kind of, this year, it only took 35 years, but you put a whole new spin on this for me. It's not all about, the relationship between yourself and your partner. It's about your relationship with others, and especially our kids. Like, it was really cool to see that you went out of your way to, really surprise them and think about them and love on them for Valentine's Day. And I think they really appreciated it this morning. Rhett's been running around with the toys you got him all day. Now he's sleeping with them. He wouldn't let me put him in his crib without the toys. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to fight this. Happy Valentine's Day. And gave him the toys.
I don't know. I think it's so important for me that I really hope our boys grow up feeling loved and feeling cared for and cared about by us. Because I think you and I both grew up without that.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily feel loved by our parents.
Mm-mm.
And if we did, it was very transactional and conditional.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they didn't do shit for us on Valentine's Day.
I don't remember. I feel like we got like the candy heart box or something. Like,
I don't honestly remember even getting that.
Maybe the conversation. That's what the conversation heart. That's what they're called. I feel like we got that or something, but I don't remember it being them proactively thinking about and wanting to get us stuff to like express love.
Yeah.
Like speaking to their different love languages. Or I was like, Enzo today with he has wanted a Rubik's Cube and he's mentioned it. And so one of the things that I put in like his little bin, because I made like 3 little bins, was a Rubik's Cube. And they weren't like over the top. They didn't get video games and, I didn't spend $100 on each bin or anything like that. Like a lot of it was the Target, like Bullseye playground, little, $2, $3 things. The Rubik's Cube was one of the more expensive items, but it was still like $10 or less. But he was like, Mom got me something I really wanted.
Right.
And that feeling of he felt loved by us in that moment. He felt seen and he felt heard and he felt like appreciated.
You want to know how damaged I am? Like, before you even did that, like, I never even thought, like, that thought never crossed my mind to do something nice for my kids for Valentine's Day. Like, that's how messed up I am. Like, because that wasn't my go-to. I wasn't like, I want to show my kids that I love them on Valentine's Day. Because I've never really, I guess I didn't have a good a mentor when it came to that, or I didn't have somebody to show me that's how it's done on Valentine's Day, and it was really cool.
I feel like birthdays are expected, Yeah,
and so same with like
Easter and Christmas, Santa and the Easter Bunny get all the credit.
Yep.
And they're also kind of expected. But Valentine's Day is really about, like, in my opinion, it's our chance to love on our kids. I mean, we can love on them every day. We do love on them every day. But it's our chance to... Because I could just imagine, like, Enzo, he's in 2nd grade, and he's at an age where he goes to school, and they have Valentine's Day parties, and I'm sure other kids talk about what they got from the parents for Valentine's Day, and... I don't want my kid to go to school and be like, oh, like I used to make up shit that I got on Christmas. I used to like make up and lie about what I got for Christmas to kids in my school because I got shitty Christmas gifts from my parents, or like make up about like what I got for Valentine's Day or Easter, or my birthday, just so that I didn't feel, I felt less than,
right?
But so that they didn't realize that I felt less than, And so I think it was really important to me. Like, I just wanted a chance to really love on them. Now, does it make sense why I got those $12 custom little name tag hearts?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because that was the first thing you had bought for him probably a week prior. And I was so confused by it. I'm like, oh, you're just going to give him this, like, here you go.
It's like a wooden plastic heart done by a graphic designer here with, like, a wood burning, etching, I don't know. But it, like, is a black and white checkerboard in a heart shape, and then it has like in cursive with white like their names. So like Enzo has one, Rhett has one, Arlo has one.
Right.
And I brought them home and I was so excited. And you're like, "What are these?" And I was like, "It's for Valentine's Day." And you're like, "How much was this?" And I was like, "They're like $12 a piece." You're like, "What?" And I was like, "I thought that was a steal for like custom made, stuff." And you're like, "Okay." But
I didn't see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And like Rhett has looked at his like 25 times, his little heart. He like loves it. It's so cute.
I mean, it just, at the end of the day, it just shows, I think it just reinforces with them that, you love them. And, hey, I'm here for you even through,
we love you and we think about you.
Yeah. It's not like you're just an accessory here and at my convenience. And that was, it wasn't like we didn't do something, we ended up having a lunch together today, and we were sitting next to another couple that had a
kids in a similar age, because he was 2.5 and their baby was probably
1.
I would guess like maybe like 10 months, maybe 1. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a similar situation. He was just having a meltdown, and we, most people like find that,
very
annoying or rude, and like me and you kind of just embraced it. We were like, "Hey, man, like." You started talking to him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you started talking to the kid. You started talking to the parents. You're like, yeah, we go through this stuff too, and we're just having our lunch. And, in that moment, it made me, like, I saw the dad, like, his son was having a complete fucking meltdown. In the middle of this restaurant.
Typical, like, full-on toddler.
Just full-on screaming, crying. People are annoyed. And the dad, you can tell, is a little embarrassed, stressed, but... He did not let go of his son.
Yeah.
He embraced his son, and he went through it with him. And it made me think about Rhett. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, I fucking love my son.
Aww.
Like, he is a lot right now.
Yeah.
But he is amazing. And he has a great personality. I love hanging out with him.
Drives you crazy.
And the crazy thing about that was when he was born, I was terrified. I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to bond with him.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to have a good connection. Because I didn't really have a good connection with my dad.
Yep.
And, I don't know where our relationship's going to go. A lot of things happen. I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that me and him have a good relationship. And I think today kind of reinforced that for me. Like, he's my world.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are too. Don't get me wrong, but he's just he's like an extension of me in a way, and I don't know. He's really cool, and I really like him. He's a pain in the ass, I get stressed, but That's parenting.
Kids are there's a lot of moments where you forget this as parents. We forget this. But there are moments when you realize and you remember that your kid is basically your heart walking around outside your body.
Yeah. It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just, I was so proud of that dad that in that moment he was just like, you know what? Fuck everybody else. This is my son. I'm going to go through this with him.
I'm so proud of you.
You know, and I know my moment will come, and I hope I don't like veer from that I embrace it and I'm there with him and I just go through it with him.
It's like when I'll like sit down on the floor randomly with him. If he's like having a meltdown, I'll just go and like sit down wherever he's at, like on the floor in the kitchen, to try to get through it with him. Like it's.
I mean, there's a timing place. I'm not going to do that every time, like in the house, especially if it's. I mean, I give him some space, let him do his thing, then I come back to him and see how he's doing. And I don't know. I don't know. Today was. I've never been really big on Valentine's Day, and today really just kind of changed my perspective on what the holiday's really about.
Aww.
So I owe that to you because you kind of started that, and it just kind of snowballed.
That makes me so happy.
There, so, but anyway,
how do you feel like? So you're saying like when Rhett was first born, you were scared if you would like bond with him. How do you feel like it is this time around with Arlo?
Arlo, I'm not as scared of. Like when Rhett was born, we went through a lot. We went through the digestion stuff. He wasn't sleeping. He wouldn't, he didn't take bottles. He was just all about you, but he hated you, kind of deal. And it wasn't that he hated you, but it was that he struggled with his gut and he was uncomfortable all the time and he was just miserable all the time. So he was terrifying.
Yeah.
This time around, Arlo has some gut issues and. He can be kind of whiny, and I get a little bit stressed, but I definitely... There was a moment where he gave me the first smile, but B, there was moments that I was able to calm him.
Yeah.
That was not something that I could do with Rhett.
Yeah.
I could not calm him for the life of me. And it really, like...
Yeah.
It forced me to kind of to disassociate, and I was just like, man, this kid doesn't like me, I'm a horrible parent. Like this, we're never gonna have a relationship. Grand scheme of things, he's fucking 6 weeks old, and,
right.
And Arlo, he obviously loves Mama, but he actually will take a bottle now because his gut's kind of screwed up, and the stuff that you have going on with your breastfeeding and stuff. So he will actually take a bottle, but when you give him a bottle, he looks at me like he looks at you, like you're my source. Like this is amazing, and it's like just like.
Isn't it
pure,
the sweetest thing ever?
Just pure, like,
love.
Thank you, Like, and so it's a different connection with Arlo this time.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm glad that I get to experience it this way because I didn't...
You didn't get the magic of the newborn.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And I feel like you are more getting the magic of...
But it helps that you're in a better headspace.
Oh gosh, yes.
Because with Rhett, you were, postpartum. You had postpartum depression, or you were borderline, and I got really worried there, being a first-time parent to a newborn. But I got really worried, and we got you some help and whatnot, and you made it through, and that's amazing. That's like a credit that to your character and how strong you are. But this time around, you've been like other than. We made it a point this time for you to do a lot of bed rest, which you've done. Like, you've done quite a bit of bed rest, just resting, which you should have done in the first pregnancy, but you decided, I want to go bounce around houses and do me.
Yep.
Live my best life after just giving birth. But
the baby out, feel great. Let me go bounce around everywhere. Never mind.
Yeah, that quick birth kind of did you a disservice.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this time around, you've just been in a lot different headspace, and it's helped me be in a better headspace. I don't feel like, because I'm doing a lot more with the other two right now, and you are concentrating on child rearing a newborn.
Yep.
And because of what I went through with, Rhett, I have a better understanding of how to deal with him when he's in these types of patterns. So I'm not as short fused. Sometimes I struggle, especially if I'm trying to sleep, but because I get very minimal sleep as it is. But I just feel like you've done really well at making this a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
Like, I know you struggled because you feel like you're oh, I'm doing so much, and you got to look at it this way. Like, if you weren't doing that, I wouldn't be able to do all the shit that I do.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing all the shit that I'm currently doing. What would be hard is if I was doing that and then trying to raise that kid too.
Yeah.
You know? So you raising Arlo, and I'm very much involved. I'm here. Yeah. You know, I'm constantly holding him or changing him or whatever.
Me making him my priority of my time.
Right.
Currently.
Is helping me. Granted, it's taking a little bit of a beating on the kids, but the other two, but again, these are just phases. So, yeah. This all stems from my relationship with Arlo. I think it will grow, and I think it will blossom into something great. He's our last one. He's the youngest. And I've been able to spend time with him as a newborn. Rhett.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to do that. It wasn't until that he was okay with doing his swing when I would take him out in the mornings and put him in his swing. But I mean, shit, that was probably 8 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
Something like that. So he wasn't a newborn,
yeah,
you know.
It's true.
But at least this time, Arlo has given me more than I could ask for as far as allowing me to be a part of it.
I look at, like, every kid is special in their own way. Like, Enzo made me a mom, you know? Mm. And Rhett was the first child for you, biological. And he was the baby that I never
in all reality
expected to have kids after Enzo.
In all reality, Enzo kind of made me a dad. Mm-hmm. You know,
like Enzo made you a dad, and then Rhett, like, you got to experience
from start to finish.
Yeah,
or start to.
And for me, Rhett is special because he's the kid that I said yes when I didn't think I would ever have kids again after Enzo. When I thought, I'm done, I'm good. And then Arlo he's our double rainbow, and he's the bookend to our family, and he's like so extra special to me because of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is such a sweetness about him. Like, about his, like, I feel like, and it's probably just me projecting, but I feel like he is such a sweetness and like
he's a kind soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
I get that vibe from him too.
Like, he has such a sweet soul about him, and I think in those moments when I see, like, he give you the first smile, like, he's giving these tender kindnesses, you know, that's just part of who he is, and that's part of what makes him, like, you know, so extra special with being our final and our double rainbow, and saying, like, you know, him not knowing, obviously, like, you didn't get that stuff with Rhett, but someone out there in the universe basically said, hey, this is the baby that brought happiness after grief, and this is the baby that, you know, is going to be sweet and tender and kind, and probably be chaos like Rhett one day, but sweet and tender and kind. And this is the baby that's going to give you these special things that you didn't get with Rhett in those first couple weeks.
Yeah.
And first couple months. Yeah.
And it's been, you know, again, it's been a whirlwind, and it's been emotional and ups and downs. But like, now that I sit here and, like, look back on, you know, the last 6-7 weeks, there's no regrets, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and it's nice because this go around, I'm sleep deprived, but I'm not so, like, you told me this would happen. You told me after the first baby, then any kid after that, you would get used to it.
Yep.
And I have completely gotten used to
running on a lack of sleep.
Running on no sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been this go around has been so much different. I don't want to say it's been easier, because it hasn't been easier per se. But it's almost like we have so much practice now that we know what to do.
And we know what works for us, as far as, like, our rhythm and our routine. Like, we were ready from day one to like take shifts and sleep in like the guest bedroom, and because we had to take shifts with Rhett, if you remember. Like, I would stay up till like midnight, you would go and sleep in the guest bedroom at like 8 p.m. and then if he didn't go to sleep and he got up at like 2, you would get up with him and I would try to sleep.
Yep.
Like, we had to, because it was terrible. So I think we know our rhythm a lot better as far as like, hey, you do this while I'll do this, and I need help with this, or, you know, I got the ball bounce, I got the shusher, I got the leg exercises, you know, already know what to do with those, and
yeah,
understanding like you're not going to scream for 24 hours.
So anybody thinking about trying to have a second child and trying to figure out if you're going to make it, you're going to make it, I promise. Mm-hmm. Rhett for me has A, shown me I can do it, but B, I think he was so hard and so difficult that it kind of makes Arlo look like a breeze.
Yeah.
I mean, Arlo has his things, like his gut things that he's working through.
He's gotten a lot more vocal about when he's like, you noticed in the last couple of days, he's gotten a lot more like loud vocal when he cries. It's like really loud all of a sudden.
Yeah, he gets a little worked up, but I mean, that's babies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. They're looking for something. So it's been a hell of a ride, and today kind of really just showed me how much I love my sons.
Oh.
I love you too, of course, but
I love you. Speaking of me and you, we were talking this week about how our relationship has like evolved from when we first started dating till now.
Right.
So we were talking the other day how it's like evolved.
Our relationship.
Yeah.
Differently. Like, I don't think we're...
Because you're saying that on one hand, we were closer when we first started dating because we just got to spend a lot more like one-on-one time together.
Right.
But it's not closer like we're not close now.
I think we're just different, closer now. We're parents and parenting together and raising children together, and there's understandings, and we're not. I don't feel like we're at. Yeah. There's a lot more grace, a lot more patience. I don't think we're at each other's throats. We haven't been as like romantic, I would say, but we're romantic in different ways, if that makes sense. Whether it be like
buying you a video game.
Yeah, something like that. Like, because right now,
or like you made me tortillas when I was like hangry and sassy the other day.
Yeah, I mean, there's reasons why we're not as romantic now. You know, obviously you just gave birth, and there's a wait period after that. I just got a vasectomy, so there's a wait period after that, and you know, there's a lot of reasons why we're just not as like romantically involved. But we try. I think we try to make up for that part of it, doing different things, which I think is okay. I mean, again, we were like, when we first started dating, we were, you know, starting to get to know each other, or getting to know each other, figure each other out, routines, et cetera, and I think now we know each other's routines, we know each other deeply, like, and we continue to learn more about each other every day. Like Valentine's, like, that was something I learned about you today. I was like, holy shit, like, wow, you know, cool. But you know, it's just different. It's just a different...
It's a deeper
growth.
level of love.
Yeah, it's a growth between us. I think we have adapted. We've done really good about adapting the mentality that it's us against the world.
Yeah.
And not us against each other kind of thing. So...
And we call each other out, too. Like, when we were first dating, obviously, like, we're
a little skittish.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or whatever.
Now we call each other out, like...
Hey, what the fuck are you doing?
You were super upset about something that had nothing to do with me, last week?
Yeah.
And you like, snapped at me, and I was like, hey, you don't need to be an asshole to me.
Well,
like,
and then you...
I know, and hold on, so you were like, you're right, like, I'm sorry. And then this week, I was really, like... I was hangry, I was tired, I wasn't feeling good, like, all of it.
And you had just gotten home.
I'd just gotten home with the baby.
Crying.
He was crying, and you said something, and I just got sassy with you.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, sassy.
Yeah.
And, like, you went and made me tortillas to, like, calm my anger. Going back to your whole, like, keep her fed.
Yeah, that was What was that? That was the first thing I ever said. Like, what did I say?
You were giving advice to my coworker Peter about dating, and you were like, keep them fed.
Keep them fed. Yeah.
But I realized, and I was like, when you came back in, I was like, hey, like, I'm really sorry I was sassy to you. Like,
you just made me gorgeous tortillas.
I didn't even mention the tortillas. I was like, it's not your fault.
Was that the reason why you went there though? Was
no,
because you were like,
I didn't.
Did you know I was out there making tortillas?
I didn't. I just felt bad. I was like, I snapped at him for no reason. Like,
yeah, I mean, I even came out and got the baby, and
I was like, it's not his fault that like I am hangry and I don't feel great and I'm tired and I went out in the world and went to Target, which was under construction, so it was crowded and chaotic, and I had to wait in line. And
I think it also helps because neither one of us really hold grudges.
Yeah.
We're pretty, like, we let shit go.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of just, we'll be upset about it in the moment or whatever the case may be. We'll talk it over and then we move on. Mm-hmm. I think we're kind of at that point where we're just like, look, life's short. And there's no reason we've had enough, disappointment and been disappointments to other people in our lives that we're just kind of like,
keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Kick the can down the road,
Also, I think we're getting better at identifying when we're upset about something, especially if it's not something that, like, either one of us have done. But, like, if I'm just upset because I didn't sleep good or whatever, realizing, like, and identifying, like, hey, I'm not actually mad at you, or...
It's kind of what we're trying to work with Enzo on.
Yeah. Or, like, I think you're getting a lot better, too, about, like, identifying...
Recognizing my feelings and why I'm upset.
Like,
I'm hungry.
upset about, this happened at work, or I had to deal with this bullshit drama at Enzo's school during driveline pickup, and,
Ugh.
God,
that always gets me. I don't know. I try to take that burden, which is dropping the kid off at school every day. Like, when was the last time you, like, had to take him or drop him or pick him up? It's been a while, right?
I think it was when you're out of town. So
yeah, I mean, so I try to like assume that burden because I know it's such a burden.
Such a pain in the ass.
It is such a pain in the ass, but like the people that do this, like, man, like, good for you. Like, I do it half the time because the other half the time his dad does it, or whatever the case may be. But man, like, my week, I know I can always count on this. Every week that we have Enzo, I'm going to be stressed to the max. And it's not Enzo's fault.
No.
But I take him to school every day, and I pick him up every day. And that drive line, man, that'll teach you some shit about yourself. Shit that you probably didn't want to know.
Don't have to experience drive line, or don't have to experience a poorly designed drive line. I'm sorry. Like, it is a whole... Every parent should experience it at least once or twice.
It's exhausting. People are nuts, especially in the mornings when you're going to drop them off and there's like 3 schools in a row and they're all doing drive lines and people are just cutting in or just letting people out on the fucking street. They're letting their kids out on the main street. Oh, God, it's awful. Just thinking about it makes me want to throw up. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but...
I feel like I'm proud of where we're at. Like, I know we're in a season of...
It's a lot about the babies.
Arlo's, like, being cranky.
Yeah.
We're in a season of, like, it is, we have littles, and they require a lot of attention. But I'm proud of us and how we're navigating through it.
I'd agree. So go us.
Well, we will let everybody go. Thanks for tuning in. And
Happy Valentine's Day. And remember that Valentine's Day is not only about your significant other, but it's about your kids, too.
Yeah, it's just about love. Loving yourself, loving on your kids, loving people that are special in your life, your friendships, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go love.
Well, everybody have a great week.
We'll talk soon.
Bye. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting's a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.